Okay, next section is 14.4. How do you solve trig equations? Okay, this is what a trig equation looks like, and we're going to solve it like a regular equation. We're going to simplify it down to the trig equation part of it. So I'm going to add the square root of 3 on both sides. So we get 2 sine of x equals the square root of 3. Divide both sides by 2, I get sine of x equals the square root of 3 over 2. Okay, we've solved this sort of thing before. Okay, so we want to know what angle gives me a sine that's the square root of 3 over 2. So, think about your special triangles. 60, 30 is 1, square root of 3, 2. Which angle is it? 60 degrees gives me an opposite over hypotenuse, that's the square root of 3 over 2. So 60 degrees. Now they're going to want the answers in radians in this case. So it's actually pi over 3. Okay. Now, however, there's another answer to this. Remember? So this 60 degree angle gives me a sine value that's the square root of 3 over 2, and that's the height on the unit circle here. However, there's another angle over in this quadrant that also gives me the square root of 3 over 2, so we have to figure out what that other angle is. And we know that it's 60 degrees less than 180, which is 120 degrees. Okay? But in radians, that's going to be 2 pi over 3. Okay, two 60-degree angles. However, another problem is that if we want all the general solutions to this equation, what about this angle that goes all the way around a circle and then back here again? Or the angle that goes around twice and back to the 60-degree mark? Okay, all those are solutions as well. So what we do in general to show that is all we do is say it's pi over 3 plus 2 pi or 4 pi or 6 pi. So the way they show it is in general they say it's plus 2 times some number pi, 2n pi. So all that means is n can be any number, and we can go around the circle as many times as you want, and we'll get angles that give you a sine value that's the square root of 3 over 2. So this is my solution right here, all these angles. Okay, so all you got to do after this is just plus 2n pi, and that gives you all the general solutions. So let's try cosine. 2 cosine of x equals -1. Okay, divide by 2, I get -1/2. Okay, what angle gives me a cosine that's -1/2? Well, in the 30, 60, 90 triangle, again, it's that 60-degree angle because cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so it's 60 degrees. However, I'm going to draw my circle a little better this time. That negative, I have to think about where cosine is negative, and cosine is negative in these two quadrants. So I have to draw a 60-degree reference angle here and here and figure out what my two angles are. So the first one is this one, which would be 120 degrees. So again, it's that 2 pi over 3. And then this angle here is 180 plus another 60. So really, how many 60 degrees angles is it? It's 3 of them to here and then one more, so it's 4 pi over 3. And then if we go around the circle more often, we just put plus 2n pi plus 2n pi. So those are my general solutions right there. Okay. Now let's look at tangent. I'm actually going to do this one first. So let's see what I get here. So I bring this over to the other side. I get -3. Divide by -1. I'm going to get 3, and then to undo this squared, I square root both sides. I get the square root of 3. And then from there, what angle gives me a tangent that's the square root of 3? Well, I should have done a different example, because again, it's going to be that 60-degree angle, I think. Square root of 3 over 1. So it's going to be 60 degrees, or pi over 3. Okay? So think about that unit circle again. Pi over 3 is 60 degrees. Where else is tangent positive? Tangent's positive over here, so I draw a 60-degree angle here. So this is going to be pi over 3 here, but over here it's going to be 4 pi over 3. Now tangent, if I'm going to, I can't add 2 pi. Well, actually, to show this solution, I can just say plus pi n, because I'm actually just adding 180 degrees to get to the next angle that gives me a tangent that's the square root of 3. So that would include this angle here. So instead of writing that, I can just write this, and that tells me that every time I go 180 degrees or pi, I get another angle that gives me the square root of 3. So that's how I approach tangent. Okay. Same thing for this one. I subtract 2 on each side. Square root both sides. Square root of 1/9 is 1/3. Okay. Now here's a situation where there is no special right triangle that gives me a tangent that's 1/3. So in this case, I have to go to my calculator, take the inverse tangent, and it's going to give me, make sure you're in radian mode, and it'll give you the radian value of that. And that happens to be 0.322. Okay, so then we're going to just put plus n pi after that to show that if I at 180 degrees, I get another angle that gives you a tangent of 1/3. So that's an example of trig equations. We'll do more in class.